Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And after my last episode, I want to look at something decent to get that acid-induced nightmare fuel off my back. So, since it's Mother's Day, why don't we talk about Pokémon again? If you may recall, just last year, I looked at the 13th Pokémon film, Zoroark, Master of Illusions, where Zoroark was the mother, or Mima, to its pre-evolutionary form, Zorua. However, did you guys know that humans can also be a mother figure to a Pokémon? Well, there was a time from the Kanto through the Johto seasons where Misty was a mother to her Togepi, until the Advanced Generation series, where it evolved into Togetic, and it was sadly released into the wild to protect the Togepi paradise. However, for today's episode, we're going to look at a Pokemon film from the Hoenn season where another one of Ash's friends became a mother to a hatched Pokemon from the ocean. Released in Japan on July 16, 2006, and airing on Cartoon Network in North America on March 23, 2007, the movie is Pokémon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea. So, let's get swimming. Ash, Pikachu, May, Max, and Brock meet Elizabeth, a descendant of the people of the water, and learn about the legend of the Sea Temple and the hidden Sea Crown. They also meet Jack Walker, a Pokémon Ranger on a secret mission to protect a Manaphy egg, which is also mysteriously known as the Prince of the Sea, and find the Sea Temple as well. The Phantom plans to obtain the Sea Crown and take over the ocean, but first he needs the Manaphy egg. Now it's up to Ash, Pikachu, May, and Elizabeth to help Jackie protect the egg and stop the nefarious pirate. So, what do I think about this movie? Well, when I first rented this movie from Netflix back in 2007, I didn't really like it at first, due to the main characters having new voices. But nowadays, I've gotten used to it, and I enjoy it nowadays. But now, let's move on to Mustang Notes. Now, this film is the fourth and the last film to be set in the Advanced Generation series, or the Hoenn seasons. And it's also the last Pokemon film to use traditional cell animation. All subsequent Pokemon films are digitally animated. And it's also the longest Pokemon movie ever. Setting designs were inspired by cities and ruins in Italy, particularly in Rome, Naples, and Capri. Man, first Venice for Pokemon heroes, and now Rome, Naples, and Capri for this film? Also, I find that to be interesting and funny since I was just in Italy last summer. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the Pokémon Ranger game. It's a DS game where you play as a Pokémon Ranger from the Fiori region and catch Pokémon temporarily by using a device called the Capture Styler, which is controlled by the DS's stylus. The storyline of the game is set out in 10 main missions with 3 submissions. Despite the fact that I never played it, I have seen a few walkthroughs on YouTube, and I think it looks like fun. As for the animation, Well, in my opinion, the Japanese animation is pretty good, despite the fact that the CGI has a few hiccups. However, the underwater imagery is absolutely beautiful, and I think the underwater temple of Samaya looks very ancient. Not only does it look very Italian, but it kind of gives me Atlantis vibes. Plus, like the Vanishing Isles from Aladdin and the King of Thieves, Samaya does not stay in one place too long. Also, the flood scene in this movie is very intense, and it makes me think about the flooding in James Cameron's Titanic. Also, I like the many different water Pokemon that are featured in this movie, including the mascot of the Sapphire game, Kyogre. Plus, while the story feels very interesting with a few silly moments here and there were parts that did make me feel very teary-eyed. Now let's talk about the characters and their voice actors. Our hero, Ash Ketchum, is voiced by Sarah Natochenny. In my eyes, Ash is still a great Pokemon trainer, and he's also very brave too, but sometimes he can be very risky, like when he tries to return the last crown crystal to the temple during the flooding. And I like that he, puts May, Manaphy, and Pikachu in a water capsule to keep them safe. Also, I like when Ash sends out his Corphish to travel through the water, as well as his Donphan, Apom, Swellow, and Sceptile to play with Manaphy. Ash's best friend and partner, Pikachu, is again vocalized by the legendary Iku Otani. Pikachu is still my favorite Pokemon in the series, and I love its bond with Ash, along with its loyalty, bravery, and friendliness, and I like when Pikachu can sense danger with its ears. Our main character, May, is this time voiced by Michelle Knotts. To me, May's role in this movie is pretty similar to Max's role in the Jirachi movie. However, while Max and Jirachi were in a best friend bond, May is in a motherly bond with Manaphy, which I think is really sweet and touching, especially when she hugs and swims with Manaphy. However, like with Misty and Togetic, it was really sad when May had to let Manaphy go at the end of the movie. Also, I like when May uses her Squirtle when she travels through the water. May's little brother Max is voiced by KZ Rogers. Max hasn't really changed too much. Sure, he is smart and knowledgeable, and he pulls on Brock's ear when he flirts with another girl. Also, I like when Max supports May, like when he tries to protect her from the Phantom. Next is Brock, again voiced by Bill Rogers. Now, despite the fact that Bill is trying a bit too hard to pull off Eric Stewart's voice like in the following films, I think Brock is an okay supporting character when he's not flirting with a pretty girl. However, I did like when Brock helped the Marina group cook Italian-style pizza and other foods during their adventure. And I like when Brock uses his Marshtomp when traveling through the water. Team Rocket's Jesse, James, and Meow are voiced by Michelle Knotts and Carter Cathcart. To me, these guys are still shenanigans. However, they do have an okay role in this movie. Like when they phoned the Phantom after reading the Team Rocket Gazette, and they also joined the Phantom's crew in order to steal treasure from the temple. Plus, I did find it hilarious when Team Rocket got their bodies switched when Manaphy used Heart Swap on them, and it was also equally as funny when they got spouted out of the Whale Lord's belly. Our second main character is Manaphy, also voiced by Michelle Knotts. In my eyes, Manaphy is really adorable, especially when it plays in the water, and it also says a few words like happy and love you. And I think its relationship with May is really, really touching. However, like I said earlier, it was funny when Manaphy used its Heart Swap attack to switch different people's bodies. Not just Team Rocket's, but also Ash and Jack. And I think Manaphy's singing is really soothing to listen to. And it did come in handy when it saved a bunch of confused water Pokemon from a Confuse Ray. Next we have the titular Pokémon Ranger, Jack Walker, voiced by Rich McNana, who would later voice Tonio in The Rise of Darkrai. You know, I think Jack is the best character in the entire movie, due to his athletic skills, and he's also quick on his feet, and he takes his job as Pokémon Ranger very seriously. Plus, Jackie can be a real master of disguise. The reason why Jackie became a Pokémon Ranger is because when he was a boy, he was saved by a group of wild Pokémon during a fierce blizzard in the mountains. Also, I like the Pokémon that he recruits in this movie, like Mantine, Fearow, Mantike, and Zapdos. Another character to talk about is Elizabeth, voiced by Emily Williams. Elizabeth is a descendant of the people of the water who travels with her grandfather Shep, her mother Meredith, and her father Kyle as a member of the Marina Group, a group of traveling performers who do water shows. And to me, unlike the Cerulean Sisters, their shows make me think of Blitzball from Final Fantasy X and Cirque de la Mer from SeaWorld. Also, their Pokemon include Seal, Dugong, Gourbice, Wooper, Barboach, Whiscash, Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Politoed, Goldeen, Seaking, Meditite, Medicham, and Buizel. As for Elizabeth, I think she's a very positive person, and she's very comforting. Plus, she has a very close relationship with her family. And I love the part when Elizabeth gave May her bracelet as a memento of Manaphy. Finally, we come to the main villain, the Phantom, voiced by Eric Schuessler. The Phantom is a very vicious pirate whose goal is to steal the sea crown from Samaya. He uses an arsenal of machines, including submarines and helicopters, to overwhelm anyone who gets in his way. He also wears a mechanized suit underneath his pirate attire, which grants him superhuman strength. In my eyes, the Phantom is a very maniacal, jerkish, and obsessive villain. Plus, Am I the only one who thinks that the Phantom and his crew could be from Team Aqua? Also, his Pokemon consist of Chatot, along with Pinsir and Parasect. And now for my final words. Overall, Pokémon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea is not a bad movie, but it's still pretty decent. Sure, this was the first Pokemon movie where Ash and the gang got new voice actors, courtesy of Viz Media, but it did take some getting used to after a while. Also, the animation was good, though the CGI did have a few hiccups sometimes, but at least the underwater scenes made up for it. Plus, the many different water Pokemon that are featured in this movie, including Kyogre, are awesome. Manaphy was a really adorable character. May was a decent and a sympathetic main character, and a wonderful mother figure for Manaphy. Jack Walker was a real badass, and the Phantom was a real vicious and jerkish villain. Also, the story was very interesting, and the moral stating, if you truly love someone, you have to let them go, really did pull at my heartstrings and made me shed a tear. I give this movie a 79% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time as we head into the Orange Islands to look at the second theatrical Pokemon movie, Mustang Power. Oh, and Happy Mother's Day.